One sec. Set up chatbot. No, I don't want to set up a chatbot. Save changes. Go live. Only for a test, and then we're going to hopefully get live on here as well. Here till the 20th. Okay, try that one there. Live. And let's have a crack there. Okay, hello everyone. Let me, we are now live here. And let me just see if we're live up here, then we've got everything going. Nope, not live there yet. That's fine. One sec, just getting at the last complete post details. Okay, I thought I already did that. Okay, save. Hi guys, going to be with you in one sec, still trying to work out. Hey Leonard. Going to have a little bit of a review of the test match. Look ahead to the Tri-Series final tomorrow in Kathmandu and give you a Cricket World Cup League 2 update when finally work out how to, description required. Okay, let's try that. Thought I'd already done this. Save. Go live, okay. Think we're going to be set in 3, 2, 1. Hi Styles. Hey Leonard. Yes, hey Leonard. Lovely to see you all. Namaste everyone. Namaskar. Good evening, wherever you're joining from around the world. Hopefully this is now working. God almighty, it's so complicated. So we're Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Warm hello to everyone. Asmith, nice to see you. Going to do some questions in a moment, but just quickly run through what's been going on. Yeah, it's been an amazing week or 10 days. Starting with here in the UAE, what a thing to be a part of. Stuff of dreams really for Irish cricket. Been a very, very long journey to get to where they've got to. Probably a lot of people, naysayers, spoken about whether or not test status was worth going for. I don't think I've got sun cream behind my ear. No, just a little bit of probably a bit of lotion was getting nicely moisturized up. Thank you, Jaylit, though. And iStyles, good to see you boys. Wish I was with you. Nice to hear from you, Roberto. Watched bits of the test match on final day. I was worried when a couple of wickets went down quickly. Yeah, good point. But yeah, look, extraordinary achievement. To take 20 wickets in a test match for any bowling attack is not easy, particularly for like the Irish boys who don't play any red ball cricket, let alone a lot of test cricket. They got to play 4 tests last year, haven't got to play a lot outside of that. So for them to do that, and yeah, just phenomenal. Really, really proud of them. And it was a great thing to be a part of here. Huge credit to the ACB and to the Abu Dhabi cricket guys for pulling it all together at a brand new test venue so quickly. And yeah, it was a really, really nice venue. I enjoyed it. Thought it was just a beautiful place to watch test cricket. There was about 20-25 traveling Irish fans. Really, really special occasion. Loved every bit of it. So yeah, I think maybe my Facebook is not particularly good quality, but it seems to be good quality on YouTube and Instagram. So hello to everyone. So yeah, look, massive occasion for the game here. Really good celebrations on the Friday night too. The Irish boys deserve that, and just yeah, look, from my end was delighted to be a small part of it as always. And yeah, my second test match and my first ever Irish test match victory. Mark there at the start of the show with the ball, plenty of stars of the show with the bat. Andy Balbirnie in the second innings, although Paul Sterling in both innings was brilliant. Lorcan Tucker again shows that he's sort of taking to a duck like water. And then for Afghanistan, Ibrahim Zadran is a proper special player. Nice to catch up with Ramanul Gurbaz and a few of the other Afghan boys who would have been at the Nepal T20 that we were doing last year in Kathmandu. So yeah, really, really just absolutely buzzed, and what a test match it was. Adair very much deserving as a player of the match. And then also, yeah, Barry McCarthy and Craig Young I thought were pretty special on their debuts too. So really, really special for the Irish, and a test match victory. So we will get to questions in a second. I'm trying to keep on top of everything. Got about 30-40 minutes with you guys. So yeah, let's get stuck into it. What else is going on in the world of cricket, or the kind of developing cricket world that I'm interested in and that we're interested in? Well, Bangladesh are in Sri Lanka for a T20I that's going on. Sri Lanka look like a side all of a sudden. They're going to be very threatening in that T20 World Cup next year. Really good against Afghanistan at home. And now look like they should have enough runs to beat Bangladesh in the first game there in Sylhet. That builds up towards that Group D, which is what Nepal are in. And the Netherlands are in as well. Those two are playing in a T20I Tri Series right now in Kathmandu at the T International Cricket Ground. Been watching that from afar, and been watching much of it whilst also commentating on a test match, to kind of trying to juggle and multitask and keep an eye on. I think I'm seeing almost all of it, or certainly 80-90% of it, even if I've had to have it on mute because I've been commentating or with other people at several points. Five cracking games and the last one washed out. The first one was an absolute belter. Jan Eaton, I think many in the developing world will have looked at and thought of as not an unfulfilled talent. I think unfulfilled talent's harsh on a guy who's 22 years of age. But yeah, wow, what an extraordinary effort. 36 ball 100. Or sorry, it was a 33 ball 100, I think, wasn't it in total, but 36 deliveries, 101 runs, fastest in men's T20I cricket, and just got to that landmark after 33 deliveries. 206 proved to be a little bit too many. On the old, the chase for Nepal didn't quite happen. But the hilarious thing about this series, the T20 series there in the TU, is that we all thought the wickets might struggle because there's been so much cricket there, but they've now actually ended up changing format and the scores have got higher and higher and higher. And it's definitely a big sign of, I guess, the ever-growing disparity between the two white ball formats and just how things are changing between those two games so far. So you might end up with guys who aren't particularly good at ODI cricket or outstanding at T20I cricket and vice versa. And you're seeing that more and more. Someone like Dipender Singh Airi, just sensational for Nepal in the last few games. As soon as he's changed format, he's had a massive impact. He's almost kind of dragged his side into that final there. Really good performance with bat and the ball. His bowling's massively underrated in T20I cricket. Super economical, super effective. So yeah, despite losing those first two games, and saw lots of messages from the Nepal fans really kind of worried and upset about, oh, what's happened to the Monty Desire. And look, I suppose the message I've been trying to be clear with to the Nepal fans has been, stay with the lads. They're all on a journey. They're all developing. It's all part of the process. And I think one of the best things over the course of the last week, 10 days since I left Kathmandu has been this amount of depth that Nepal have found within their T20I side. Brilliant for Pratish GC, his career best figures. Like we said, Dipender Singh Airi back to his absolute very best. Kushal Malla doing what we all know he can do. Rohit Paudal's an excellent series bat ball in the field as a leader. They're getting to try out lots and lots of different variations, different varieties to their bowling attacks, their batting lineups. And ultimately, okay, you want to win every game you play, but the results right now aren't nearly as big as what they will be come June. And I think things are building up really nicely, particularly with the other things that we're going to mention, which is the announcement of the Triangular Series out in Hong Kong, which Nepal will travel straight for. And then also that RSA Wolves Tour. Then Nepal, the senior side, will head down to India to play some Ranji Trophy sides. Then it's the ACC Premier Cup, which is absolutely massive because that's got Asia Cup qualification on the line in the T20 format. 10 teams will come together there in Oman to work out who's going to be the best associate in Asia in the T20 format. And then building all up to that World Cup in June. So much to look forward to for associate fans generally, but particularly Nepal fans over the coming weeks. What about the rest of that Tri-Series? Well, Michael Levitt has really announced himself to the world stage, 20 years of age, very stocky, very powerful, big power hitter of the ball. Doesn't look like a guy who's 20 years old. Looks a lot older than that. Looks really muscly. He hit 135 off 62. I think it's the second Dutch T20I century in history. Both of them come to the T International Cricket Ground. And then having lost their first two games at the end of the first half of the round robin, Nepal needed to win their last two, and they did that. The first one they only just did in a classic thriller by 3 runs. Kushal Malla and Dipender Singh Airi, probably the two stars of the show. On that occasion, JJ Smith with a 26 ball 50 as well. And Ben Chikongo back into the team in the wickets for Namibia. But that combined with the hammering that Nepal gave the Dutch a couple of days, sorry, the very next day, and then 2 days later, the rain that came down when Namibia were struggling against the Netherlands, means that tomorrow, I think it's 11:30 a.m. again, at our favourite ground in the world, the T International Cricket Ground, the spiritual home, not just of Nepali cricket, but of the associate game too right now. We're going to see what is going to be a sensational crowd. A couple of days ago, saw the images. I stuck them into the little thumbnail for this. The crowd was unbelievable. Truly, even by all of the Nepal standards, this one looked right up there with March 16th last year and May 1st, May 2nd. For those really historic days. So another halcyon day tomorrow. I'll be watching it all live here from my hotel in UAE, where I'm preparing for the White Ball Series now. Ireland take on Afghanistan, 3 T20Is, followed up by 3 ODIs. Should be really good games. Or actually the way around, ODIs first and then the T20Is. After talk is Rashid Khan maybe back for the T20Is, which will be very exciting. And again, for Ireland and Afghanistan in particular, 3 important ODI games, but the T20I is going to be so critical as both sides build up towards that T20 World Cup come June. But really good sides for both Nepal and the Netherlands. I think Nepal in particular are maybe showing that they will have additional potential and additional improvement within them, particularly with the number of players that are from kind of coming into the squad and really just developing, like the Bekyadevs, the Pratish GCs, these sort of guys. They're still finding their way in international cricket. So be patient with them, give them a chance to actually show just how good they could be. And yeah, things looking very, very exciting for June. So I'll be watching all that tomorrow. Also tomorrow is the continuation, the second half of Cricket World Cup League's 2 second series. So UAE taking on Canada and Scotland. Lots of people will look at those results and be really surprised by them. They'll see Canada having won 2 games, but Canada showing absolutely the benefit and the necessity really of good preparation, and that good preparation, what it's done for them. They've beaten the UAE by 3 wickets in a pretty thrilling game, and then they hammered Scotland, which is a huge turn up, given that Scotland won the last Cricket World Cup League 2. Scotland paying the price for, very sadly, not having any cricket at all, no games. Since August last year. They've obviously had some problems off the pitch. They're trying their very best to get their boys prepared. Lots of their guys have been playing cricket because they're in demand around the world, but as a team they haven't played at all since beating Ireland in that thriller, the Europe qualifier for the T20 World Cup last year. So I feel a bit sorry for them, but the great news was 2 days later they bounced back by beating the UAE, who really have some questions to answer. Baldwin out for 132, and Charlie Taylor in his debut making a half century. Brad Curry in the wickets, he's a real talent. Keep your eyes on him come June, presuming he's in the T20 World Cup squad. And Scotland bounced back, so they're 1-1. UAE 0-2, and Canada 2 from 2. Tomorrow feels like must-win territory already for UAE versus Canada. So I've got about, what have I got on my hands here? I've got half an hour to be with you, answer some questions, run through what's going on. And yeah, looks like, yeah, I don't know if I can change this frame rate on Facebook. So let me just quickly, no idea to do that. I'm sorry if it's let's ask people on Facebook, how is the video quality there? Sorry if it's bad. So I think it's good on Instagram and YouTube. So we do some questions. I get lots of questions on social media. I try to get back as many as I can. And sometimes the old Instagrams in particular just build up. But let's run through anything you've got to ask. Do you want to ask about the Irish tour here against Afghanistan? T20 World Cup, what's coming up? Predictions, who you think is going to win it? Who do you think is going to get through to the Super 8 from the 20 teams, the biggest ever T20 World Cup? The Tri-Series final tomorrow, any questions on that? What about who do you think is going to win that game? What team do you think Nepal are going to play? Who your favourite player is? Insta quality is great. Thank you, Midjay. Really appreciate that. Let us know how it's gone on YouTube there. Good numbers on there. So hopefully, is that working on YouTube? Is the video and audio quality okay? Let's see what... okay, so Facebook's terrible. I think it's my laptop. Maybe my laptop's not up to this. Okay, if you're on Facebook, get on over to YouTube or Instagram, a bit better. And I'm going to start with some questions on Facebook because people have been waiting really patiently. Okay, Prashant Joshi says, brother, please talk about Nepal. I always do. I get lots of stick for talking too much about Nepal. Simonoli says, hello, namaste from Kathmandu. Miss you too, mate. Yeah, Animesh Catwell says, not great quality, but great to see you. Jivan Kaka says, nice quality. Okay, that's good. Who else is saying hello? Sandeep Gamir, hello Taklu Dai. Namaste to you, my brother. Nice to hear from you. Abhijit Rimal, Aditya Sa, and Pokral Raj, Pramesh Rai, Narendra Kurambang, Sanjeev Shrestha says, want to meet you in Abu Dhabi. I'm not in Abu Dhabi anymore. I'm now up in Dubai. We've got the White Ball Series, which is going to be played in Sharjah. So we've got like a little 20-minute drive up the back end of Dubai here. Srijan Gamir says, why can't Can organise fixtures against bigger countries rather than just Hong Kong and Papua New Guinea? I think that's a good question. And sometimes I see some of the comments from fans giving out that Nepal don't play test nations all the time. It's really difficult to get fixtures on the current the way the current international cricket calendar is. It's really squeezed. It's really packed, and it's difficult both from a cost perspective and from a logistical perspective to get sides over to be able to play as much cricket as you would like. I know that Canada's probably done a better job than ever in their history in terms of getting fixtures, and look at the amount they've got to look forward to. Personally, so excited about that Ireland A tour. It's a strong Ireland A side that's coming over. I think, being honest with you, I think Nepal will probably, certainly the senior side, I'd back to beat Ireland A in those couple of games, and then even Ireland A versus Nepal A. I think Ireland A will have a difficult time of things, particularly playing spin. You think about the number of quality spinners that Nepal have to select from, and I think it's a big series for the likes of those left arm spinners, Shahab Alam, Sagar Dakal, young Bashir Ahmed too, and I'd love to see Surya Tamang play quite a bit. So hopefully they'll have a really good time of things against Ireland. And yeah, look, just great job by Cricket Ireland and Can for getting that series together. Somebody, you guess is your name. I presume that's not your full name. You're saying please talk about Anil Shah. Yeah, look, what a story. Anil Shah, his third incarnation really as an international cricketer. So the beautiful interviews he was giving about his brothers basically sacrificing their cricketing dreams so they would do normal work while Anil Shah would chase the cricketing dreams for the whole family, and how much that means to the family and to him, and to have achieved the success he's had now in this third incarnation. He's got to do it consistently. It's not going to be easy, but he certainly looks a significantly better player than he was when he first came on the scene. I think back to commentating on him in Nepali domestic cricket, he used to be quite loose and not very strong on anything really but the drive, but now he plays the short ball well. He gets into line. I was chatting to him, he went down to India to do a huge amount of personal work on his game for it's kind of 3 to 4 months. So yeah, massive. Krishan Timalsina says, what's my thoughts on Vanuatu cricket? Yeah, look, devastated for them. Sadly, that's the associate game, and for those who don't know, that was the Cricket World Cup Challenge League playoff in Malaysia, where only 4 of the 8 teams were going to be able to qualify for the Challenge Leagues, and sadly Vanuatu have lost their status, and the likes of Italy have held on to it. So yeah, look, devastated for them, and there isn't necessarily a pathway back in for the moment for them. They'll just have to do really well in T20 cricket and find a way. So thoughts with Tim Cutler and everyone involved out there. Nice to see you, Maxi. What's going on, buddy? Good luck in the final tomorrow. Sagar Bahar says, hello, Doi. How are you, mates? Big Jan Powell, big hello to you. Okay, let's get over to YouTube. We'll come to the Instagram comments in a bit. Obviously trying to multitask here, apologies. Okay, so on Saharan says, tomorrow's the final, we're going to miss you on your commentary. Yeah, it won't be there in person, I'm afraid. Would love to be, but I have to stay here in the UAE, so I'm here for all the white ball games starting on Thursday. We see, I think it's 3 ODIs, 3 T20Is. That's the latest here. Excuse me, I'm still getting over a wee bit of sickness from my old friend Paresh Lahani gave it to me in Kathmandu, so I can blame him for making me sick. But I'm all good now, all good to go for the ODI games. Okay, let's get to these questions on YouTube. Kumara Oli says, what do I think makes Anil Shah a finisher? Don't think he's necessarily a finisher. I think he's probably more of a top order batter. That's the way I'd be looking at him in the top 3. It is tricky for Nepal because I think they have to stick with Asif Sheikh and Kushal Bertel at the top without doubt across both white ball formats. So to kind of squeeze in Anil Shah and maybe Dev Kanal is not easy, because I think Rohit Paudel last to bat 4 is only really the one spot. Uday Narayan Paudel, thanks so much for that kind of message. Alan Photography, thank you so much. I'm not in Nepal right now though, I'm in the UAE. Mr. Zeddy says, who do I think will win the Cricket World Cup League 2 cycle this year? Will Netherlands dominate, or will Canada show exceptional performances and surprises? Good question, Mr. Zeddy. Well, it's going to be more competitive than ever, isn't it? My God. I think we're only, 9 games into the whole series out of the 144 there's going to be. And we already see how incredibly difficult it's going to be for all the associates to win games consistently, and for any associate to dominate the league. Scotland won the last edition when they played 36 each with 10 defeats. I expect it's going to be similar. No one's going to dominate. Who's going to win it? God, who's going to win it? I don't know. I could give you my kind of the four sides I fancy to do well, but who's going to win it? I think I'm going to stick with the incumbents. Scotland will somehow find a way. They always do. And the Dutch might find it a bit more difficult with all the different players that they'll have in and out. Suzanne KC says, what do I think about the back-to-back series organised by CAN this year? It's brilliant. It's so good. And I think the biggest thing it gives the opportunity for young Nepali players is to get chances. I do think it will take some management to make sure players don't get overloaded and too tired. But definitely, look, just really so good for young cricketers and the start of the 18. Brilliant innovation. You can see all the difference that Paris Kadke and Binod Dassard are making alongside Chator and Roshan and all the team. They're really pushing things in the right direction, and rightly so. There's so much interest there right now. Pushpa, that's very kind. Coach Ladakari, thanks so much. Smack says, when am I coming back to Nepal? Missing your commentary. And nobody knows how to do it like you. That's very kind. I don't know when I'll be back. Hopefully soon. Would love to be there for the Ireland series if that's going to be possible. I'm here till about 20th of March for the Ireland versus Afghanistan series. Jitin, that's very kind. Gamer Boy says PNG beat Oman today. Yeah, they did. Canada beat Scotland DOE. What is happening, Tackling? Good question. What's happening is associate cricket. It's wildly unpredictable because all the sides are so good now and they're very, very, very competitive. I think really the top 30, 32 in the world. There is a gulf up to the top 5 or 6 test nations, but beneath that, the lower test nations are the best associates. They can all beat each other on their day. There's no doubt about that. So what's going to happen in June? I'll be pretty sure we're going to see some upsets at that T20 World Cup. And I'm talking about upsets in the rankings. I think associate fans will think that they're not necessarily upsets. But certainly we're going to see those upsets, and we're going to see all the kind of conventional pundits go, oh my God, how have Oman beaten West Indies or whatever? How have Nepal beaten Bangladesh? You know, and they're going to say this shouldn't be possible. But I think everyone who follows the associate game will know that we'll see plenty of upsets in June, and who knows, maybe a Namibia or a Nepal or one of the more developing nations could get through to the Super 8s, which would be an amazing achievement. Ayush Kafle says, when did I retire from cricket? Still technically playing, haven't given it up just yet. Pratiksha Pedal says, how strong is Ireland A? Really good side, led by Neil Rock. Good left-handed keeper batter, plays very well. It's good spin options. Ben White's in there. Let me see the rest of the squad. I didn't look at it that closely. I know James McCollum is there, which is a great opportunity for him across both formats because he doesn't get a huge amount of cricket. Who else is there? I think Fionn Hand is there. He's played a lot internationally, very talented cricketer. Would love to see him get a chance again back at the international level. Gareth Delaney is there. He's a huge ball striker, real talent. Stephen Doheney, massive opportunity for him. I think many Irish fans will feel as though he was a bit unlucky to be left out, given he hadn't done a huge amount wrong. Matthew Humphreys, there was a test match to his name. Liam McCarthy, good seamer from Railway Union. PJ Moore, we obviously have seen his ability at the international level with Zimbabwe. Hasn't quite shown it for Ireland yet. Good chance for him. Morgan Topping from Belfast is talked about very much as a future international. Ross Adair has already played T20s for Ireland. And the one I'd probably keep a little bit of a Pembroke bias. I'm going to stick on that. Keep your eyes on Gavin Hoey. A young leg spinner, huge talent, really good fielder. Really power packed batter down the order too, and son of former Irish international leg spinner Conor Hoey's probably the best leg spinner of all time in Ireland. So Gavin Hoey, definitely want to keep your eyes on there. Good squad. I think they might struggle in the conditions though locally. I would make Nepal favourites certainly with the Nepal full side to win those 2 games, and then the A games I think will be very close. Okay, what have I got? I've got about 15-20 minutes left. I'll come to Instagram questions next. Just get the final ones here on YouTube. There's so many, struggling to keep on top of them. Suresh Parajuli asked why ICC can't make more test nations, and what should the nation do to be a test nation? It's actually on the website. There's the ICC website. There's a a criteria for Test cricket, which is not just stuff on the field, but the on the field stuff is you have to have beaten full member nations, Test nations before. Nepal haven't done that yet, so they don't even meet the most basic criteria yet on the field. However, they do take a huge number of boxes off the field, particularly the culture of cricket and the media following for the sport, the fan engagement in the sport. It's probably higher in Nepal than any other associate nation. In fact, I think it definitely is. So, yeah, they've just got to get their domestic structures, keep building them up. They've got the A team now in place, and yeah, find a way to really start to dominate the associate game, start to beat some full member nations, and then who knows, that could be the next step. It feels to me like it's a 10-year process from where they're at right now, and probably no different to where Ireland and Afghanistan were about 10 years ago from now. So it's possible. It's not easy. There's a whole lot of political aspects that lead into becoming a test nation too, but there is actually a criteria there on the ICC website. You can Google it and have a look at it. Okay, wow, lots of questions coming in. Just trying to keep up with these. Ayush Kafle says, who do I see becoming the top associate in the coming 4 years? Things changing gradually. Look, I think the Dutch and the Scots are the incumbents. The UAE should be really pushing everyone right now with their structures and their players and the infrastructure that they have. From a cricketing perspective, like all of the facilities they've got are phenomenal here in the Emirates. But yeah, maybe they're just underperforming slightly. But then again, they beat New Zealand last summer in the T20I. So, look, I think it's very hard to say which is the very best one right now. Because they're also good. Namibia are an outstanding side. Oman have shown again and again how good they are. Things will change gradually, and that's the exciting thing about Cricket World Cup League 2. Really looking forward to the last 3 games here in the UAE, and then it rolls on to Scotland at the start of May. Behind the scenes says associate cricket's not getting enough funding to improve and globalise. Yeah, look, I understand that point. I'd love to see them get more money, but there's a limited amount of money in the game, and the way it's distributed is the way it's distributed. So I would absolutely adore if there was a way that, you know, all the associates could get more money that they really deserve, because they do deserve it. But there isn't a magic money tree for the game, and all of these associates have to do their very best on and off the field to get more fixtures and then monetize those fixtures and try and make them look good. Rajan Kanal, I don't think I'm looking like that man. Not going to say his name. Random everything. Sorry, Serious Man says planning of Can to be next for Wember. I'm sure they are planning that. And Mr. Zeddy says, okay, can I predict my top 4? That's my last YouTube question. So get over to Instagram quick at Cricket Badge if you want to get questions in there for the last 15 minutes. Let's have a look. Top 4. Well, God, before this series, I didn't think Canada would make the top 4, but it shows how brilliant Pabudu Dasanayak is as a head coach. Because if you kind of look on the pitch, you'd think they might be the weakest of the sides. Thanks so much for them, Sharma. That's really kind. And yeah, I don't know is the answer. But if I had to guess a top 4, I think Nepal will find a way in there, but I don't know if they'll finish first or second. And they've obviously only won 1 from 4 on home soil. I think Namibia, Netherlands, Scotland, Nepal will be my 4, but certainly Canada and Oman will be chomping at the bit and very, very close to it, you know. They really will. Thanks so much, Rajan. That's very kind. Okay, let's get some Instagram comments. It's more difficult to scroll back through these, but if you have any questions, yeah, Watson, I've just answered that, so that's the top 4. Prashant says wins are nice, but what do I think about the recent losses for Nepal from Sydney? Firstly, good evening. Must be late down there. I don't know what time you're up at. Maybe 2 or 3 in the morning there. Yeah, look, I don't think those losses are a huge amount to be worried about. I think the 3 games that they lost in the ODIs, they lost the toss in each of those 3. We tend to see some knee-jerk reactions from the fans in particular. I was a little bit disappointed with some of the energies, particularly when Dipender Singh wasn't there for the first game, but that's come back in a big way in the T20s. And actually the only message I really left the players when I was saying goodbye to them was, guys, just only thing I want to see when I'm watching on from the UAE is I just want to see the most outrageous energy in the field. And Rohit, you, Dipendra, Kushal Bertel, I want to see you running those 2s that no one else in the world could run, and they're some of the best in the world between the wickets. They're brilliant in the field, and I kind of felt that energy has come back in a big way. And Yeah, look, I know they lost two of the games at T20Is, but you're going to lose T20Is. That's the way the game works, particularly if the toss goes against you or whatever. And they're into the final now, and if I had to predict, I think they'll probably win the final tomorrow. Um, Dinesh Pandey says, my Nepali crowd expectations on the T20 World Cup in the USA and the West Indies in the battle between their opponent crowds. I think they'll outrank almost all of their crowds. I think maybe at all four games. Let me have a look. Maybe not the Bangladesh game. Depends where the Sri Lanka match is. Let me have a look here. I know that the Netherlands Nepal game is, if not already completely sold out, very close to sold out in Texas, and that will be, I would imagine, 90% Nepal fans. Um, so that's in Texas, game one. Game two is in Lauderhill down in Florida against Sri Lanka. I think they'll definitely outrank the Sri Lankan fans down there. The Sri Lankan communities aren't necessarily in Florida, whereas the Nepal ones will travel down. And then, yeah, maybe Bangladesh in St. Vincent and South Africa in St. Vincent. I think they'll outrank the South Africa fans. Yeah, I think it'll be just amazing to see. They'll be one of the stories of the tournament alongside Uganda and some of the other associates. It's going to be brilliant to see. Jiga Sumarit says, when do we think Nepal can start to play low-ranked test nations? I think they're really trying. We've got Ireland A coming for the first time in a week, which is fantastic. As well says, which team will I support, the Wolves or the Rhinos? I don't know if I'm going to be there, but if I am there, I'll be supporting both of the teams. I got this a lot when Nepal played Ireland in the Cricket World Cup qualifier last year. Yeah. Syed Sadat says, I live in the Netherlands. Levitt to score in the ton. He could. He's a hell of a talent. He really is exciting. Santosh says, Nepal are underdogs in the 2024 T20 World Cup. Yeah, of course they are. They've never beaten a test nation. They've got to play three of them in their Group D. For me, that's the group of death. I think that's the toughest group. South Africa, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Netherlands, Nepal. I think it's much tougher than any group. All of them, yeah. I think it's the most difficult by a distance. Maybe the England, Australia, Namibia, Scotland, Oman group is tough too, but Group D for me is the toughest, and they're in it. So again, Gailey says, why do I think cricket isn't popular in most of European countries and North America? I don't know. Anyone that I introduce the sport to loves it. I guess it's just a cultural thing, a historic thing that, yeah, it's a great shame it didn't stay big in North America when it was big in the 1880s, 1860s, like it was in Ireland. It was massive back then, and other sports and politics took over. It's a difficult sport to play if you don't have the facilities for it sometimes at the top level anyway. Not